Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam Kwak here, one of the Kwak Brothers, and welcome to our live session right here. And I want to tell you guys a story. I'm going to make this really quick. It's just like the title says, how do we go from 0 to 75 rental units in just 1 year? And it's funny, a lot of people think that we're exaggerating when we say that. We're really not. And I'd be afraid to exaggerate because obviously people are going to sue us or there's going to be legal reasons to that claims. But I would tell you that it is true. We went from 0 to 75 units in just 1 year. So I want to share a story with you guys, how we went from having nothing to 75 rental units. And I will tell you guys, it did take us about 2 years to kind of prep for it, but the 2 years of prepping could have been cut down, honestly. It was just us getting lost and being scared half the time. But the story goes, my brother and I got started this business 4.5 years ago, around 2014, early 2014-ish. And I was 22 and my brother was 20 years old at the time. We were still in college. And I remember one summer, my friend recommended me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? Many of you guys know the book, may have read it, by Robert Kiyosaki. And after reading it, I had mixed emotions. I was both excited and angry at the same time. I was excited that this whole concept, this possibility of passive income exists, right? Because prior to me being 22, like prior to that experience, I didn't realize there were other ways to make money. Like I thought the only way to make money was to go work for a job, to work for a company. I thought that was the only way to make money, right? And when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like mind blown, like into several different pieces. I was angry that the fact that our school system wasn't teaching this, right? Our school was completely negating and completely oblivious to this new concept, this possibility of buying real estate to create cash flow. So I had mixed feelings. Like no one taught me, like growing up, like nobody said I can go become a landlord, right? And I was a little angry that I found out about it when I was 22. But I'm at the same time, like I got lucky because I'm seeing a lot of these older folks, right? No offense, that are realizing this later part of their life. And I consider myself to be fortunate because I had this epiphany when I was 22, not when I'm like 45 or 46, right? So I read the book. I was like super excited about real estate investing. I'm like, man, I got to go start buying properties. And I've learned that wholesale is one of the ways you can get started. And I remember going from like house to house, like people looking to sell their houses. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like if I would have looked at myself then, I'm like, man, what are you doing? Right. I remember like me like knocking on doors and these doors would close on me right on my face. One time I got laughed out of the room because I didn't know what I was doing. And all these experiences, and I can kind of relate to what a lot of you guys might be experiencing is you guys want to jump into real estate investing, but you guys are afraid or scared, right? You guys are afraid or scared by what other people will think of you or what the seller will think of you. Like you're scared of failure. You're scared of what the results are going to be. Sometimes you might be scared of success, right? You're thinking, man, what if this actually works? Like what can I do, right? And I was scared too. My brother was scared getting started in this business. And we were searching, we were going down on YouTube videos like you guys are doing right now, watching videos and reading books. And, nothing really got us any closer until we finally met a local mentor who had like 200 some doors, 250 doors or something like that. And we sought his expertise. We bought him lunch multiple times, bought him food, right? At one point, we ended up working for him for free, which I'm glad I did because we got to learn the business, right? We got to learn the systems. We got to learn what makes the business tick. And I had this question the whole entire time. The question I had was, why is this guy successful and why am I not? And I was trying to learn the behaviors, the tasks, the discipline that it takes to go from where we are to where he is, right? 200 some rental units. And throughout working for him for free and just kind of shadowing him, we picked up skill sets. We started to learn how to do these things. Fast forward to today, my brother and I, 2019, we have 75 rental units. Actually, we've done a little bit more than 75, but we ended up selling a couple of the properties, at least the ones that aren't performing as well. We're doing 6 fix and flips right now. We got 3 properties under contract. So a lot of activity, right? And looking back, my brother and I looked back and said, what are the common denominators? Like, what do we believe? Like, if we really distilled it down to like the few select ideas and activities that really got us there, like what are those things? And I distilled it down to 2 things. Okay, 2 things that helped us go from 0 to 75. The first concept is understanding and knowing how to negotiate for owner financing. Owner financing, for those who don't know, is a concept where instead of having to go through a bank to get a loan, you're having a conversation with the seller to where the seller agrees to take monthly payments in exchange for the ownership of the property. So this process, owner financing, the whole entire idea is to eliminate the need for a bank, right? We don't have to go through a bank, because if the seller is willing to give us the financing for their own property that they're selling, do we need to go to the bank, right? No. So having to go through a bank is a pain in the butt. I've gone through it. It's not fun. You have to turn in tax returns. You have to get your credit pulled. It's kind of like getting your teeth pulled, but with your finances. And it's not a very pleasant experience. But going through owner financing can be a better process if you know how to do it, right? So we started learning how to negotiate for owner financing, and we finally got to a point where someone did agree to owner finance their property to us. The only challenge, the next challenge that we were facing is that these sellers were asking us to do a down payment, right? Whether it's 20%, 15%, 25%, they're asking for us to do a down payment. Now, we figured out how to do the deal without the bank, but we didn't necessarily have the money to do a down payment, right? So we were faced with another wall, like another phase, where we were frustrated because we were getting these owner financing deals, but none of them would take like no money down. So we were frustrated, and I remember we were traveling at one point in time, like in midst of this frustration, we were traveling, and I was in a hotel room. I was watching TV because we don't own a TV. We didn't have a TV back then. We still don't have a TV today. And I was watching TV. I was watching Shark Tank, and for those who don't know what that show is, it's time for you to come out of the rock. I was watching Shark Tank, right? You guys may know the show, very fun show. And, one of the contestants walked into the room, and there's, Kevin O'Leary, Mark Cuban, Robert Herjavec, all these sharks. And he started opening his mouth to give his pitch, right? He looked sharp, right? He dressed really well. He seems, modest and nice. Started opening his mouth, and he introduces himself. His name is, yada, yada, yada. And he goes on to say that he doesn't have a business. He has never had a business, and he never made money on this business idea that he's proposing. And here I'm like, man, this guy is gonna get cooked, right? He's gonna get fried by Kevin O'Leary. I can totally see Kevin O'Leary just like saying, "Hey, get out of this room. You don't deserve to be here. Screw you," right? And I was just kind of paying attention. I was like watching this. I was kind of like entertained by what I thought was gonna happen, but I was totally wrong. This guy goes on, pulls out a report. He's like, "Hey, I have a market research. This is why I believe my product and service is going to work. Here are the researches. Here's some facts. Here's some data. Here's my analysis." And he was like answering every single questions very intelligibly. And he seemed he seemed like an expert, right? He articulated himself really, really well. And I was super impressed. I was like, wow, this guy deserves whatever money he's asking for. And, I was totally wrong. At the end of his pitch, Kevin O'Leary ends up writing a check to this guy for $100,000 for this business idea. And I was like, right? I was like, my mind was blown by what just happened. And I had a bit of an epiphany. I was like, wait a minute. This guy never had a business idea or never had a business, never had a business revenue, never made money from business. And all he did was do some really good research, had some really good analysis. He presented himself really well, and yet he still got Kevin O'Leary's attention and made $100,000. And I kind of scratched my head, and I was like rubbing my chin just like this. And I'm like, wait, so if this worked for this guy for that business, could this work for real estate investing? Right? I had this epiphany. I'm like, okay, so if I can pitch my deals really, really well to these wealthy people that are investors, could I also raise money to do deals for my owner financing? And I was like, let's give this a try. So my brother and I got to work. We started going out there, building relationships with really wealthy individuals, people who had lots of money, right? Doctors, attorneys, you name it. Started building this relationship. And we started doing the same thing that this guy did, right? Doing analysis, research, market research, everything that we could do. And we sounded really well. We dressed really nice, being really modest. And we copied what this guy did in Shark Tank. And we finally hit a jackpot where a gentleman we met, we sat down with him, showed him our deal, I presented the facts and all the market research that we've done. And he ended up writing a $60,000 check to invest with us. And I was like, this actually worked. And I looked at my brother. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening, right? I was like geeked out about what was happening. And we finally were able to do our first deal because of this gentleman's contribution. And he ended up being one of our partners. And because we could do that once, now we could replicate that process over and over and over again. Like we have the skill set to go out there and find multiple people to partner up with us, right? So from then, that's how we started leveraging the idea of owner financing and raising capital, right? Going out there and finding money from other people. And we married this idea together. Now we can start investing in acquiring properties without having to use our own money and without our own credit. Right? You could do the same thing, whether it's rental property, fix and flip, you want to do nightly rentals, Airbnb, same concept. Now, I know I skipped out on a bunch of concepts and details and information that goes in between. So what my brother and I are inviting you guys to do is I want you guys to check out a webinar that we're putting together. If you guys are watching this live, we're going to be doing a live webinar this Friday night at 7 o'clock Central Time that you guys are invited to come. If you guys are watching this on replay and it's after January 26th, we have a replay available for you guys to watch. So I'm going to turn this camera around. Actually, let me see if I can switch the camera from here. I don't think I could. So I'm going to turn this camera physically over this way. There we go. You guys can see the writing on that because from what I can see, it's like flipped. So if you guys are seeing the flip version, I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and write down the actual link right here on the comment section. Sign up for the webinar. And if you guys are watching on the webinar or the recording of this very video, I'm going to go and leave that link in the link description down below where you guys can go and just click on it. You guys don't even have to type. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right here, https thekwakbrothers.com//learn. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave that link right there. If you guys want to sign up for it, definitely do. I'm going to go over step-by-step on how we raise money, step-by-step on how we negotiate for owner financing. Daniel's going to talk about that. Step-by-step epiphanies and experiences that we had to come to 0 to 75 rental units. I mean, it took us, again, I think I said 2 years of preparatory work. Honestly, we could have saved those 2 years if we knew what we're going to show you guys this Friday night at 7 o'clock. If you guys can't make it to the live webinar because you guys are off to clubbing or partying, you guys can watch the replay. But if you guys really believe that your finances and your future is a priority, I suggest that you guys be there this Friday night at 7 o'clock. There it is, thekwakbrothers.com/learn. If you guys want to engage with us, that is the best time to do it. We'll be there live. We'll be there. Both myself and my brother will be joining the live webinar. So if you guys want to see the deeper training on how that's done, here it is, guys. We'll have the replay ready for you guys for those who are watching this months and years out from this recording. So I hope to see you guys in the live webinar this Friday for those who are just watching. And for those who are watching the replay of this, there will be a recording of that webinar that we're going to be doing this Friday night. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in the live. I will be back later tonight, hopefully to finish out the 21 days of mental detox challenge, if not tomorrow night. And if you guys want to catch me in a different YouTube video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and click like on this video. We'll love to see you guys in a different video. All right, guys, thank you so much for catching in. I will see you guys in another video. Take care.